Hey guys, welcome to our presentation of The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. The story takes place in the late 1880s and it describes a woman's role as wife and mother. Women could not vote or own their own property and were to be pure, pious, domestic, and submissive in every way. Gilman fought for social justice. She was a part of the feminist movement and it had just begun as a radical fringe ideology largely dismissed by the mainstream population of the time. Women could not live on their own. Their husbands or fathers served as their guardians as well. Charlotte Perkins Gilman was not your typical lady. She believed in women's rights. Her own experiences were similar to those of the narrator in The Yellow Wallpaper. Gilman believed that women must exercise their intellect or they would go insane. And the story The Yellow Wallpaper was set in the Victorian era, and the story's theme was contrary to the established beliefs of that period. The narrator has recently given birth in this story, and she may be suffering from postpartum depression. The narrator mentions that she has been diagnosed with a slight hysterical tendency and was being treated as most women of her time would be with the rest cure. The story is also told from a similar point of view as Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. And about the rest cure, it is a remedy that forces women to do nothing but rest and relax while they are in states of depression. The rest cure was advocated strongly by a nationally recognized neurologist of the time, Dr. Silas Weir Mitchell, and his rest cure called for complete rest, coerced feeding, and isolation of the patient, specifically women. Just a couple of notes about the rest cure. It was a treatment prescribed by Dr. Mitchell, and it involved 4 steps, right? Extended and total bed rest, isolation from family and familiar surroundings, overfeeding, especially with cream, on the assumption that increased body volume created new energy, and then finally massage and often the use of electricity for hysterical paroxysm. So within the plot of the story, it begins with a journal entry and the narrator describing the new house she is living in. She becomes suspicious of this new place and this leads her to begin explaining her illness, of which she is suffering from nervous depression and her marriage. The house in which she lives in is in Victorian times. Insane relatives have kept hidden away in an attic. The narrator is kept in a room like this with yellow wallpaper. The characters that are involved in this short story are the narrator, John, the husband, and Jeannie, John's sister, and the narrator's nurse. Some important themes I want you guys to keep in mind as you read would be patriarchy and the subjugation of women in marriage, childlike dependency of women, superiority of the physicians, i.e. doctors, and need for work, intellectual stimulation, and opportunities to express a woman's creativity. Within this story, we have the element of stream of consciousness, and we discussed this earlier this week. And again, the definition for that is a specific character's thinking process is used instead of using dialogue or description of a character's thoughts, right? And this is used to help create the themes within this story. A little added note, the story includes some sensory stimulation, and so the narrator hears, sees, touches, tastes, and smells the paper, i.e. the wallpaper, as it comes more alive to her throughout the progression of the story. There's also a lot of symbolism involved in this tale. The definition for symbolism is a device containing several layers of meaning, an object or action that means something more than its literal meaning. And some examples of those that appear in the story would be the wallpaper and a woman behind bars. And then just as you're reading, just think about these, these different aspects. Could the woman be the narrator's shadow, the woman that she's seeing in the wallpaper? Could it represent the narrator herself, trapped inside the wallpaper? What could this be? So think about this symbolism as you read, and then there's a touch of irony involved in this story, and I want you all to try to discover what the irony is of the fixed furniture in this new home the narrator and her husband are currently living in. So that's it for our video today. Please go back through it and take any notes you need to have to complete the quiz that follows this video. Thanks for your time. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.